want you people to try to get a little track lead, not to jump around like a bunch of Kansas City f***its.
There are movies out there that my bias will be apparent. This is because I believe that there are movies out there that are so important that everyone should watch it. It was hard-hitting back then, and it is still hard-hitting today. Would you like to know more? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Blazing Saddles.
I'm glad those fingers ain't loaded.
Mel Brooks is a wonderful film creator. I don't just put him in a box and say he's a director, or writer, or performer, because he's all of that and more. But he's also a movie lover of the highest order. And when it comes to hard-hitting, sarcastic, dark comedy, he can do that too. He proved it with the producers. And in Blazing Saddles, he wanted to tackle race relations.
Are we black?
Yes, we are.
Then we're awake.
This is the mid-70s and the US just finished the war with Vietnam. The Black Panthers are still out there in the streets, and there are also black comedians out there tearing up the country with hard-hitting comedy. That man, of course, is Richard Pryor. Brooks brought him on to write and play Sheriff Bart, but the studio at the time would not sanction a comedian due to his drug use. Brooks insisted on keeping Pryor as a writer. However, it could have been the first movie that Pryor and Wilder would have acted opposite each other, but alas, that will have to wait until Silver Streak.
Steady as a rock.
Yeah, but I shoot with this hand.
The story of the movie is as followed. Bart is a railroad worker after the American Civil War, but he gets appointed to the sheriff of Rockridge because of a scheme to evict the town of its inhabitants in order to secure its valuable land and to build a railroad over it.
I know how we can run everybody out of Rockridge.
How?
We'll kill the firstborn male child in every household.
Too Jewish.
Bart actually wants to help the town folk, but they don't seem to receive him that well.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Despite the hostile welcome, Bart does his best to get rid of the town of outside elements that try to drive the town folk out, and slowly but surely he wins the people over, and all that's left is to face the dastardly Hedley Lamar and his cronies before they destroy the town and its people in it.
And hearty handshake to our new...
Out of all of Mel Brooks' works, his parody films are the most fondly remembered. First of all, it's because they're funny, but also because each one of them pays homage to a film genre. In Blazing Saddles, Brooks chose to honor the Western, in particular the John Wayne, James Stewart style of Western, rather than the spaghetti Western. But it's not just a straight-up homage, it's a full-on parody, which means a lot of gags, double entendres, slapstick humor, and things that are out of place and, of course, out of time.
The Pentaman Thruway.
To make it more hilarious, Brooks used a technique that hasn't been used in Hollywood for a long while until that point, and that is to break the fourth wall, which means sometimes his characters address us, the audience, in order to punch up a gag.
You are so talented, and they are so dumb.
Brooks uses all these techniques to subvert or undermine the viewing audience and to make us laugh. But on top of that, and with clever writing, he manages to have a hard-hitting racial critique, political critique, and to subvert the entire Western genre at the same time. And when I say subvert, I don't mean undermine or break down the Western in order to ridicule it. No. I mean to take the elements that build up and create a story of your typical Western, plus its cinematography and score, and to use that to create the comedy and transform it into a parody.
You can't park that animal over there. It's illegal.
This was revolutionary at the time and helped spawn other movies of its kind, like, I don't know, most of all of Mel Brooks' successful movies, plus the Zucker brothers and Abrams movies. As for the acting, there are three standouts above and beyond all the rest. Harvey Korman, no relations to Roger Corman, plays the dastardly Hedy Lamar.
Not Hetty, it's Hedley.
He is fantastic in the role of the villain that keeps coming up with an evil plan and then having it ruined due to poor henchmen. Cleavon Little as Sheriff Bart, who took over for Pryor, carries the entire movie on his back with such a charm and elegance it seems effortless. Plus he gets to do some of the funniest gags in the movie, although some of them will go over people's heads just due to the timing.
And now for my next impression, Jesse Owens. Seize them!
Catch them!
But the crown jewel belongs to Gene Wilder. He worked with Brooks on the producers, and then he made Willy Wonka. But with just a few scenes in the movie, he transforms into someone completely different and acts as a perfect crazy sidekick to the level-headed Sheriff Bart. Wilder is a comedic genius and a perfect casting in this movie. It's just a shame he couldn't work with Pryor.
What's your name?
Well, my name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
Blazing Saddles is a comedy I wish Hollywood would make today and should make today, but they never will. It's offensive, unapologetic, rude, lewd, crude, without a shred of being prude. And it hits you with puns, slapstick humor, high humor, plus it distracts you with one kind of humor while you're looking at a different kind of humor. It's really difficult to explain, but you'll know it when you see it.
When can you work him in?
I couldn't possibly sneak him in until Monday, sir.
It's above and beyond the standard of this type of movie humor and storytelling. Its unapologetic offensive humor was rough back then, and it's even rougher right now. It's offensive to be offensive, but it does so with a specific point, and will absolutely recommend this movie to watch. Even if you really don't like westerns or comedies or offensive humor, you have to watch this movie because it is one of a kind, because it is important, and because you will howl laughing and take a big breath and will probably say, nah, I did not hear what I just heard, did I? Yes, you did. And guess what? In a few minutes, you'll hear it a second time.
Don't just lay there getting the suntan. Ain't gonna do you no good no how.
Thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.